All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom. This lesson, they're just going into, you know, things that happened in the past, within the Spanish Inquisition, which just going to be very lightly touching on it, more focusing on this guy, Thomas de Torquemada, and just touching on it very lightly for time's sake. The kind of time that we're entering into, Jacob's trouble. That this is going to be a time like never before in history. That's going to be so bad that the archangel Michael is going to have to step in. The angels are going to step in and reveal themselves. They're going to protect the Lord's elect. But in these times, we're preparing ourselves for a whatever scenario. We're preparing ourselves to be tried, because this is a trial. This is a temptation that's going to try the whole earth. Matter of fact, I can start right there. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word, and this is Yahushua speaking, you see the red letter. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So this hour of temptation that's coming, which when you go into the word temptation, it's G3986, paraismos. And it says the putting to proof, meaning the trial, to experiment, to see what you're made out of. And then we'll go there to G3985, paraizo, to test, to endeavor, to scrutinize, entice to discipline, to examine. So you're being examined in this time that we're entering into. Let's keep going. G3984, para. It says from base of 4008 through the idea of piercing, a test, a trial, experience, attempt. To make a trial of a thing or a person, to have trial of a thing, to experience, to learn, to know by experience. So let's look right here through the idea of piercing. G4008. See, pero, to pierce, to cross beyond. So, and this is the time that we're entering into. This is going to be a real trial, and ultimately that MOTB, that's going to be the ultimate test. When you're not able to participate in society, you're not able to go to the stores, you're not able to buy things, you're not able to pay your rent, you're not able to live in the house, you're not allowed the comforts that you're allowed in this bullshit society. But hey, there's more to it, because some of us are going to be thrown into prison. Let me get that too. I must have. Let me go back. No, I thought I had it. Oh well, no problem. Hey, some of us are going to be thrown into prison. Some of us are going to be put to death. Some of us are going to be out there in the wilderness. Some of us are going to be in. Hey, we don't know where we're going to be. That's the point. And that unknown, when you think about it, when the unknown thing, the unknown factors, they can make you anxious. But we have the scriptures to give us comfort, because it makes just about every scenario known. Here it is. You have, Peter, Joseph, that were thrown into prison, Jeremiah thrown into a pit. The prophets having people wanting to kill them. Men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua being stoned, men being burned and flayed, cooked on a skillet, having their members, cut off, having their tongues cut out. being tortured, and hey, you got to play these things through your mind. But this is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So the point being here, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Because hey, whatever comes upon us, hey, it's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that brought it upon us. And he brought it upon us, he can deliver us from the same. And it says, be thou faithful unto death. So even if you gotta die, let's look at that. Be faithful. G4103 Pistos. It says trustworthy. Faithful. Hey, keep your faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Keep believing in him no matter what. Believing, confiding, trusting. One who is convinced that Yahushai has been raised from the dead. One who has become convinced that Yahushai is the Messiah and the author of salvation. So Yahushai is that chief salvation. It's in his name. Yah, he, Yahushai, meaning Yah, meaning he, and Yahushai, meaning saves or delivers. So he saves, he delivers. It's in his name. And if we die in this life, hey, so what? We get a little rest. We're going to be raised up. And if we die faithful, hey, we're going to get a crown. We're going to be ruling in the next life. So this is Ecclesiasticus, I should say, Salakia. It's Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 2. And I'll start at verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So if you're coming into this, hey, you got to prepare yourself, prepare your spirit, prepare your mind. Know that this isn't some just a cakewalk, a party. Like you see a lot of different Israelite groups having parties around the Passover, partying up, always partying. No, this is a thing. Hey, you have a few good times. You meet up with brothers. You meet up with like-minded men. And you rejoice in the brotherhood. But outside of that, hey, you're preparing yourself. You're preparing yourself for the tribulation to come, Jacob's trouble. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 1. Again, my son, if thou come to serve Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, prepare thy soul for temptation. So you're going to be tried all through this. You're going to have different things come upon you, different troubles. You're going to have different scenarios, different experiences. But hey, like it says here, verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. So set your heart upright and constantly endure. Constantly be ready to suffer. Be patient, because these things harden you. These things build you up. Endurance, hey, that strengthens you. To be able to go through different pains, different obstacles, uncomfortable situations. So, hey, like what happened over the weekend, the guy saying he's not going to eat horseradish. It's disgusting. I want to eat romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce ain't going to help you endure nothing. That burn from that horseradish, that burn through your sinuses, that's going to build you up. That's going to toughen you up. Those harsh experiences, those toughen you up, those life lessons, those character building, scenarios. It's like it. But this is I'm not gonna go too much into this, but hey, the time's coming. Hey, you're gonna be people looking to torture you, people looking to kill you. And this guy here, Thomas de Torquemada, this is just Wikipedia, also anglicized as Thomas of Torquemada, was a Roman Catholic Dominican friar and first Castilian Grand Inquisitor of the Tribunal of the Holy Office, which was a group of ecclesiastical prelates created in 1478 and charged with the somewhat ill-defined task of upholding Catholic religious orthodoxy within the lands of the newly formed Union of the Crowns of Castile and Aragon, presently known as the Kingdom of Spain. So what I'm getting into, this is the Spanish Inquisition. Now, basically, they wanted to inquire who was truly practicing Christianity at the time. But what it turned out to be was they were just going around torturing whoever they thought wasn't truly a Christian. Jews, Muslims, whoever they thought. Because even this guy himself, he was a convert. His family was Jewish. But the point being, in the time that's coming, you're going to have people out here that want to torture you, want to kill you. That want you to say, okay, I'm going to take that C-hip. Okay, whatever, just stop, whatever. Because a lot of the people that were tortured throughout this Inquisition, hey, they just said whatever to get out of being tortured, to stop the torture. They would say, okay, I'm a Christian, whatever. So, in part because of persecution, Muslims and Jews in Castile and Aragon at the time found it socially and politically and economically advantageous to convert to Catholicism. The existence of superficial converts from Judaism was perceived by the Catholic monarchs as a threat to the religious and social life in their realms. This led Torquemada, who himself was believed to have Converso ancestors, to be one of the chief supporters of the Alhambra decree that expelled the Jews from the crowns of Castile and Aragon in 1492. Owing to the Inquisition's use of torture to extract confessions and burning at the stake of those declared guilty, and to Torquemada's own approval, even advocacy of these practices, his name has become synonymous with cruelty, religious intolerance, and fanaticism. The number of burnings at the stake during Torquemada's tenure has been estimated at 2,000. So, you don't know for sure, but hey, he could have burned more. But he's synonymous. This guy here in this picture is synonymous with torture, and he looked like your average everyday Edomite that's psychotic, wanting to kill somebody constantly. But just looking at what happened back then and now, what's getting ready to take place, preparing your mind, preparing to be tortured, because hey, if you don't take this MOTB, hey, they're gonna be looking to kill you. If you don't want to be a part of this NWO, hey, that's a death sentence for you. And if you're not preparing yourself for that, then you a romaine lettuce eating nigga, huh? But this is a video. I'm not gonna play any of it. This is Thomas de Torquemada, the Grand Inquisitor, on YouTube from Biographics, and this was a good video I was watching this morning. If anybody wants to check it out, you just got it right there. Let's see here. And this is, scriptures that come to mind, at the time, the second, in the Maccabees time, during that time, it wasn't lawful for you to profess yourself to be a Jew or an Israelite. You had to do as the Greeks did. That's why a Hellenization. That's why a lot of people became Greeks and lost their heritage. So this is Second Maccabees chapter 6, and I'll start at verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. Now, there is no temple now, but if we know that we're the temple. And when you look at Israel, for the most part, when you look at the different camps, and you see they're doing all this, playing with harlots, doing things that are not lawful, going in the ways of the Gentiles, and they're polluting the temple. The things are repeating themselves. And this time in the Maccabees, and there was a great persecution against the Israelites. And we're looking to see that again. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So even that repeated itself during Torquemada's day. You had to say you were a Christian. And that video is really good. It goes into more depth. But here I'm going to jump down. Verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. So they're saying, well, let's all be one people. You're going to follow our things. You're going to do our customs. And if you don't, you should be put to death. And the time's coming. What is it going to be? You're going to take the MOTB. We're all going to be one people, one world order. And if you want to be off the grid, you got to be put to death. You don't want to be a part of this? Put this dude to death. Verse 10, for there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. Let me read that one more time. For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, so they're keeping the law, whom when they had openly led about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. So they paraded these people around, these women around with their newborn babies, and they threw them off a wall. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they had made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. So there's persecution going all around, and expect those things to return. Meanwhile, you see all these people partying, all this kind of stuff like that, thinking it's a good time, helping out Barabbas, helping out criminals, feeling sorry for them. You prepare yourself for the judgment that's getting ready to take place. Because this is getting ready to be a great judgment, and it's going to start at Israel. Verse 12, now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but a chastening of our nation. So this is the things that Israel suffers. This is chastening. The other nations, they don't suffer like this, for it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so he dealeth with us. So the other nations, Esau, Edom, for instance, he's got a long list of crimes that he's done that he's not paid for, and he's gonna be paying for them for a long time, starting with the destruction of his kingdom, then him going into slavery. But us, And we suffering all the time. And meanwhile, you got Jakes that is too stupid to see the things that we're going through are a punishment. They want to party through the punishment and not be reformed, not seeing that the punishment that we're going through is chastening. We're supposed to straighten up. But let's see here. I'm gonna close out with this. Lord willing, I can come back. I want to go more, if Lord wills, into Torquemada. Just doing more research into that. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's fine. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. So we're going to suffer things, and we're going to hope to be able to make it to the kingdom of heaven. Hope to be worthy to be of the elect. But that's it. Hope to be worthy to receive a crown.